There is so much scary stuff happening right now, and so many stories that it turns out that people who have been claiming certain conspiracies, turns out it's true, and people going missing. It's just scary, isn't it? With all the stuff happening around, who, his name starts with E, ends in N, like, turns out there was a certain podcaster. It's so annoying, because if I say their name, get in trouble. Like, that turns out this, a lot of the claims he was making were true. Friends with Joe Rogan, this guy. And, a lot of people end up vanishing as well. It's just, what is happening in the world these days?
Imagine you've just uncovered a secret so massive, so dangerous that it could topple governments or bring down billion-dollar corporations. You decide to tell the world, but then, just as your story hits the headlines, you vanish. No goodbye, no trail, just an empty room and a growing list of questions. He told his family, if anything happens to me, don't believe that it was an accident. Days later, he was found deceased in a hotel bathtub.
Oh
Danny
my
Casolaro
God.
was a freelance journalist in the early 90s who stumbled upon a conspiracy that he called the octopus. He believed a secret cabal of government officials and organized crime figures were using a stolen software program called Promise to spy on global banking and intelligence networks. Casolaro had spent over a year tracking this shadow group across several continents, claiming it linked the Iran-Contra scandal to the 1980 October surprise. On August 10, 1991, Casolaro was found in a Sheraton hotel in West Virginia. Despite the gruesome nature of the scene where his wrists were cut 10 to 12 times, authorities ruled that he had took his own life within hours. The suspicious part, his briefcase, which he told witnesses contained his final breakthrough notes, was missing from the room. Furthermore, a professional cleaner was allowed to scrub the room before a full forensic investigation could be completed. She was the only journalist to ever...
I mean, that is just so suspicious. Come on. There's just no way you believe that he did that to himself, right? I don't.
Land a private interview with Jack Ruby, the man who unalived Lee Harvey Oswald, and she told friends the JFK case was about to blow wide open. Dorothy Kilgallen was a media powerhouse, but her real passion was investigative reporting. She was highly critical of the Warren Commission's report on the JFK assassination. She managed to obtain a 102-page transcript of Jack Ruby's testimony before it was officially released, and she claimed that she had secret information that would prove a conspiracy involved more than just one shooter. In 1965, she was found unalived in her Manhattan townhouse. The scene was bizarre though. She was found in a guest bedroom that she never used, wearing a blue bathrobe and full makeup, with a book upside down in her lap. The cause of death was ruled to be an overdose of alcohol and barbiturates, suggesting that she took her own life or had a tragic accident. But the hook is that her folder of notes from the Jack Ruby interview was gone. Her hairdresser...
I mean, this is just like, God, it's just almost obvious. Like, it might be true that she unalived herself, but why are the documents always missing? Why are they always missing?
Later claimed that Dorothy told him that she was carrying a secret that made her fear for her life just days before she passed. He spent 32 years at Boeing, but when he started talking about cutting corners and safety failures that could lead to oxygen masks failing, he ended up unalived in a hotel parking lot. This is a modern-day tragedy. John Barnett was a quality manager at Boeing's North Charleston plant. In 2017, he blew the whistle, claiming that workers were under such intense pressure that they were fitting substandard parts to the aircrafts. Most chillingly, he claimed that tests on the 787 emergency oxygen systems showed a failure rate of 25%, meaning 1 in 4 masks might not work in an emergency.
That is insane. If this is true, that is crazy that these airlines are allowed to operate. Are you telling me? So if the masks come down, every 4th person, there's a pretty much dead on chance their mask ain't gonna work. How are they going to breathe?
March 2024, Barnett was in the middle of giving legal testimony in a whistleblower lawsuit against Boeing. He failed to show up for the 3rd day of his deposition. He was found in his truck in the hotel parking lot, and the official report stated that he took his own life. However, his lawyers pointed out that he showed no signs of depression and was actually looking forward to winning his case. His family continues to this day to push for a deeper investigation into the circumstances of his passing. He was a brilliant researcher who helped build ChatGPT GPT, but after he went public saying that the company was violating laws at a massive scale, he was found unalived in his apartment at just 26 years old. Sachir Balaji was a researcher at OpenAI for nearly 4 years. He played a key role in developing the datasets that were used to train GPT-4. However, he became disillusioned, claiming that the company was scraping private and copyrighted data without permission or compensation, essentially breaking the internet. He quit in August 2024 and gave a bombshell interview to the New York Times, becoming one of the most prominent technical whistleblowers in AI history. In November 2024, Balaji was found deceased in his San Francisco apartment. While the medical examiner ruled that he took his own life, his family has publicly challenged the verdict. His mother reported that his apartment appeared ransacked, and a private autopsy they ordered allegedly showed injuries inconsistent with the official report.
This is just so shady. This is so shady. Like, I mean, maybe it's just the conspiracy theory part of me that believes it, but just logically, it doesn't seem like these people were in that state of mind that they wanted to leave this world. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like just way too obvious that they didn't.
Furthermore, family members claim that sensitive documents Balaji was preparing to use in court were missing from his devices after his passing. He exposed how the CIA was linked to the 1980s crack epidemic, and for his reward, his career was destroyed and he ended up with 2 holes in his head. In 1996, journalist Gary Webb published Dark Alliance, a bombshell series claiming that CIA-backed Nicaraguan Contras were smuggling white powder into Los Angeles to fund the rebellion. This report essentially linked the US government to the crack epidemic that ravaged American cities. The backlash wasn't just from the government. Major newspapers also attacked his credibility until he was forced out of journalism. In 2004, Webb was found deceased in his home. The official ruling was that he took his own life. However, the report stated that he had died from 2 bullet wounds to the head. Never released more documents that he was rumored to have been collecting. She was on her way to meet.
Dude, another one that just does not, because like surely after the first one, like if he did it himself, he would be just, there's no way, like how would he do it twice to himself? Do you see what I mean? Doesn't seem possible, does it?
A New York Times reporter with a folder full of evidence regarding plutonium smuggling, and she never made it to the meeting. In 1974, Karen Silkwood was a technician at a nuclear plant. She began noticing terrifying safety violations, faulty fuel rods, missing plutonium, and workers being exposed to radiation without their knowledge. She even found herself mysteriously contaminated with plutonium in her own home, leading her to believe that she had been targeted. On November 13, 1974, Karen was driving to meet a union official and a reporter. She supposedly had a folder of documents in her car. Her vehicle, though, was found crashed into a concrete culvert, and Karen was unalived. The documents completely missing from the crash site. An independent investigator found skid marks and a dent in her rear bumper, suggesting that she was rammed off the road by another vehicle. A journalist who worked for the president.
Wow. And the documents, as always, missing again. The documents are always conveniently missing, aren't they? Every time.
Of Belarus vanishes at an airport after exposing government death squads. Dmitry Zavadatsky was a cameraman for Belarusian state media. He had previously been the personal cameraman for President Alexander Lukashenko, giving him intimate access to the regime. However, he grew disillusioned and began filming a documentary about secret execution squads used to eliminate political rivals. In July 2000, Zavadatsky drove to the Minsk airport to pick up his colleague. His car was found locked and abandoned in the parking lot. Zavadatsky was gone, and in 2002, 4 men, including former members of a government special forces unit, were convicted of kidnapping him, but his body was never found. To this day, it is widely believed that the order came from the very top to stop the release of his documentary and keep the death squads a secret. He was a journalist who took...
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Like, in that region of the world, Russia, I mean, to be honest, it probably happens everywhere. Political opponents, people that are exposing the top brass, like if you go against them, massive danger. Like, you're in massive danger. Very risky,
Down a 4-star general, and right before his car exploded at 4:30 a.m. he sent an email saying that he was being watched by the FBI. Michael Hastings was the reporter who wrote the Rolling Stone article that led to the resignation of General Stanley McChrystal. In June 2013, Hastings sent an urgent email to colleagues stating that he was working on a story about the CIA and needed to go off the radar. Hours later, his Mercedes was filmed traveling at high speed through a Los Angeles intersection before it veered into a tree and exploded. Former security official Richard Clark stated that the crash was consistent with a cyber attack on the car's computer. Hastings was
You can do that? You can cyber attack a car? Wow. I mean, I feel so like ancient. I didn't know you can hack cars remotely.
cremated against his family's wishes before a private autopsy could be performed, and the FBI later admitted that they had an open file on him despite previously denying it. She was the one-woman WikiLeaks who exposed the deep corruption of Malta's elite, until a car bomb silenced her just 30 minutes after her final blog post. Daphne was an investigative journalist who spent years exposing how top-tier politicians in Malta were linked to money laundering in the Panama Papers. On October 16, 2017,
oh yeah, the Panama Papers, I remember that. Yeah, like bunch of documents, kind of similar to like WikiLeaks and all that kind of stuff, right? And the Snowden files.
She posted her final blog entry, which ended with, "There are crooks everywhere you look now. The situation is desperate." Minutes after, she drove away from her home, a remote detonated bomb destroyed her car. The investigation eventually forced the Prime Minister of Malta to resign and revealed a conspiracy involving businessmen and government officials. She didn't just vanish, she was vanished in the most public, terrifying way possible to ensure the secrets that she held were never fully explored by the legal system.
That is so scary. Could you imagine that? She was just driving her car, thinking she's going home or wherever, and then just boom. Oh, what a way to go.
Investigating a shadow mercenary army in the heart of Africa until they were ambushed in the middle of the night and their sensitive files disappeared. In 2018, 3 Russian journalists, Valery, Alexander, and Orkan, traveled to the Central African Republic. They were investigating the Wagner Group, a private military company. They were looking into how the group was trading military protection for gold and diamond mining rights. While traveling to meet a fixer who claimed to have evidence of Wagner's training camps, their vehicle was ambushed and all 3 were unalived.
Wow, probably by that group. Probably by the Wagner Group, right?
While the official Russian investigation blamed local rebels for a robbery, the journalist's driver survived unharmed and gave conflicting reports. Their high-end cameras and equipment were left behind, but their laptops and hard drives containing their investigations were taken. They vanished from the story that they were trying to tell. These cases serve as a chilling reminder that the truth often comes with a heavy price. Whether it's corporate greed, government corruption, or underground spy networks, these people paid the ultimate price for trying to bring the shadows into the light.
Man, oh man. Honestly, it's just they're so brave, the people in this video. Like, because they must have known that by trying to take down these powerful people and companies and organizations, they were putting themselves under huge risk, like massive risk. You know, of course, if some person's making millions and millions and millions of dollars or pounds or whatever from some kind of scam or whatever, like, and you're threatening to bring that down, they're gonna do everything they can to stop you. Super brave. And obviously, you know, you just hope that their legacy, like the things that they exposed, mattered and they brought about some kind of change. It's just like unreal, because it's like, to me, we don't have much, obviously, evidence that maybe they were right, but why is it that all of their documents were gone? Like, it feels like in all of these cases, like they left valuable things behind, but the documents, the files, the findings, they were always gone. Why take that and not take the cameras? Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and check out the one I'm going to link right below here, and I'll see you there.